Hey, what's up? My name is Daniela and welcome to a new video. So today we are doing an unhaul because a few days ago I did a bookshelf reorganization, which the video is already up, so you can watch it after this one. But I ended up deciding to get rid of quite a few books, you know, considering the total size of my collection. And I'm really looking forward to actually getting them out of my house. So without further ado, let's look at all of the books that I'm getting rid of. So first I put two books aside, and these were two books that I was keeping only to reread them, except for it was taking me a long time to actually reread them. So I decided to start off this year by rereading them, and then I will probably unhaul them, although I'm not really sure. But yeah, they're kind of a maybe right now. And so I have already reread this year Touch Hearts Tolstoy by Catherine Ormsby. So this is a young adult contemporary book about a girl who loves Tolstoy, and she is making her own web series adapting Anna Karenina. So this was a book that meant a lot to me when I first read it in 2019, because Tash and I have a lot in common, and it was confirmed that this is still one of my favorite young adult contemporaries out there. But now I have read it twice, so I don't think I will be necessarily rereading it anytime soon. So yeah, I think for now I can get rid of it. I also removed all of my tabs that I had, and yeah, I'm ready to part with this one. And the second book that I'm currently reading is Red, White and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. And this book I think I also read in 2019. I listened to it on audio and I loved it back then, and then I found it cheap in perfect condition the first time I was on Canary Island, so it was a kind of a special thing. Now once I reread it, I think I will be ready to part with it. Moving on, next I have Death Note Volume 5 by Tsukume Oba and Takeshi Obata. So last autumn I read the whole Death Note series, and I sourced most of the volumes from the library, but I also bought a couple of them secondhand because the library didn't have them. I have already got rid of the rest of the volumes I had, and this is the last one. I've been trying to sell some books on Vinted, which this hasn't sold, so I'm probably going to sell it somewhere else in one of the secondhand bookstores that I use. Next we have A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. So I got this in London and I have read it, and it is an old text, so it is for free on the internet. So yeah, I don't think I need this little book. Next we have Payback Switch by Lana Harper. So this is a witchy sapphic romance that I read this autumn, and this is one of the books that I was hesitating about, because on one hand I kind of wanted to collect the whole series and other witchy series and then have them for next autumn, because yeah, I am not a big rereader of books, but if I reread something it might likely be like witchy, seasonal or holiday Christmas romances. But then I decided against collecting all of the books in all of these series, because that would just increase the volume of my collection a lot, and that's not something I want to do right now. So I want to continue with this series and the other series, but I will just get the volumes that I want to read, and you know, I'm probably not going to keep the previous volumes, although I might return to them someday. But yeah, for now I think we're good, and I can just continue with the series and get rid of the volumes that I've already read. Next I have a non-fiction to switch it up, and I have this book Could Save Your Life by Graham Lawton. So I just finished it. I actually finished it like in the last week of December, and it was quite enjoyable. I read it quite quickly, but I don't feel that it gave me so much, and yeah, I might take some notes from it, but I definitely don't need to keep it. Then we have What You Are Looking For Is in the Library by Michiko Arayama, and this is another book that I bought in London last year and I read it while in London, so it is a bit special for that reason. And I really love this book, and I thought that I wanted to keep it, but then I realized that while I really enjoyed it, I would rather read books that are similar to this instead of just reading the same book, you know. So I will look for some more Japanese wholesome books like this, but I don't need to keep this one. The next book in the stack reminds me that I forgot to do the disclaimer. So some of these were gifts from some of you, and I just want to say that I always appreciate gifts so much. I always read them. I put a lot of thought into what I put on my wish list, so yeah, it always makes my day. These days I keep very few of the books that I read, and once I read them, I'm usually happy to send them to the next reader. And so the next book is Nobody's Princess by Erica Ridley. So this is book 3 in the Wild Winchester series, which is one of my favorite historical romance series, because it is the only historical romance series that I have read, but it is actually that good. But yeah, this is book 3. I really enjoyed it. I think I gave it 4 stars, but I don't think I will be rereading. There are more books in the series, so I'm definitely continuing. But yeah, I can send this one to the next reader to read. Then we also have 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Bulkelman. So this is one of my favorite nonfiction books. I have read it twice and I found it quite refreshing, but I think at this point I can probably get rid of it. I have some tabs there, so I might take some notes, and yeah, otherwise I think it can go. Another nonfiction that we have is Because Internet, Understanding the New Rules of Language by Gretchen McCulloch. So this is a book about linguistics and the internet, and I really enjoyed it. I actually read it on New Year's Eve to finish the end of the year reading goals I set for myself, and it was really enjoyable. I studied linguistics, but there were definitely new things to learn. It was so interesting to look at the internet culture through the linguistic lens, and what I especially liked was that oftentimes she was talking about some topics and she was making some argument or just, you know, stating something, and I was like, but what about this and this and this? And then she actually talked about those things as well. So yeah, I can highly recommend this book if you're into linguistics a little bit. I wasn't tabbing many things during reading this, and yeah, while I had fun with it, I don't think it's something that I need to keep to reference later. Next we have a classic, and we have Mansfield Park by Jane Austen. And this is a very random edition that I got when I was fulfilling my goal to read all of the Jane Austen novels a few years ago. This is my least favorite Jane Austen book, and while with the other ones I think that I might realistically be rereading them in the near future, I don't think I will be rereading this one maybe ever. So for now I just gave up on the idea of having the whole collection of her novels, and I will just keep the ones that I actually really liked and might reread. Next we have Slay by Brittany Morris. So this is a young adult contemporary about a black teen who develops this video game, and it gets intense. Really enjoyed it. Don't need to keep it. We're also getting rid of Cackle by Rachel Harrison. So this is a book that I was a bit scared of because I thought it was a horror. Turns out it wasn't much of a horror. It was just like contemporary with some paranormal elements, and I really enjoyed it. But then I realized that I probably won't be rereading this anytime soon, so it can go. Then we also have The Romantic Agenda by Claire Kahn. So this is an adult romance, and we have an ace main character. The cover is stunning, and I might reread this one day, but probably not anytime soon. So yeah, this one was also one that I was kind of hesitating about, but yeah, let's just read new books. Another witchy romance is Deep One's Guide to Wooing a Witch by Sarah Hawley. So this is book 2 in the Glimmerfall series, the first one being A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. And yeah, really enjoying the series. I gave this one 5 stars. But yeah, for now I would rather continue with the series rather than rereading the volumes that I have already read, so this can go. And then the last stock I have are Christmas books that I just read, and I decided that I'm not going to keep them for next year, even though some of them are ones that I might reread. But yeah, in reality I would rather read new to me books, and you know, maybe I will return to some of these later down the lane, but for now we can get rid of them. And first we have The Christmas Castle in Scotland by Julie Kaplan, which ended up being one of my least favorite books this year. So needless to say, I don't need to keep it. It's a Christmas romance set in Scotland. We follow this girl who inherits a Scottish castle. She's trying to convert it to a B&B. I might touch on this book in some other video, but yeah, I got it in Manchester on my recent trip for, you know, I got 3 books for £6, so bye. Another one, which was much better, is Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This was also part of that deal, and this one I enjoyed much more. In this one we have a main character who stars in some adult films, and then a former boy band member, and they film a wholesome film together. This one was really fun. It is also the first in a series, so I might read the next one, but yeah, I probably won't be returning to this one. I also have How to Excavate a Heart by Jake Mayalo. So this is a young adult sapphic romance, and I think we need to talk about this more in as a community, because it is so good. I really enjoyed it. So the main characters in this one are Jewish and they don't celebrate Christmas, but it is no way takes place around the holidays, and there are some holiday references. And yeah, loved it, but it can go. Also another stunning cover, like look at that. And the last one in this haul is also the last book I finished in 2024. I was finishing it on New Year's Eve to finish my goals, and it is My True Love Gave to Me, edited by Stephanie Perkins. So this is a collection of Christmas young adult romances. I really enjoyed it. Like, I gave a lot of these 4 or 5 stars. There were a couple of flops, but that's normal in a short story collection. But yeah, overall I really recommend it. Like, it is from 2014, so like some of them were a little bit outdated, but I think most of them weren't. So if you want to read like something that will give you that young adult nostalgia, kind of similar, like Let It Snow kind of gives me that nostalgia, I can recommend this one. So that is it for the Unhaul. With a lot of these, I really loved them or enjoyed them, but yeah, I am just keeping my book collection to a minimum right now. Let me know if you have already unhauled some books this year, or if you are planning to. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!